all the multicultural communities that comprise the backbone of this wonderful country of ours. Mr. Joseph Rizk, AM, OAM, is the CEO and Managing Director of the Arab Bank Australia Limited in 2010. He was previously the ABAL's Chief Banking Officer for over 5 years, overseeing the retail, commercial and trade banking operations and branch networks of the Arab Bank Australia Limited, as well as being responsible for all the revenue generating mechanisms of this institution. Before the ABAL, Mr. Rizk worked for over 30 years, predominantly in senior executive roles for the National Australia Bank, where he led and managed a series of large business units in Sydney and Greater New South Wales, and directed the NAB's New South Wales and ACT property finance groups. From 2014 to 2017, Mr. Rizk was the president of the Westmead Medical Research Foundation. Likewise, he was nominated in 2015 for the position of director of the Westmead Millennium Institute for Medical Research, and became chairman of the Italian Opera Foundation Association, as well as receiving the Order of Australia, OAM, award in recognition of his extraordinary contribution to the banking sector, community and charitable works, especially in the Lebanese and Arabic communities. Moreover, Mr. Rizk became a board member of the Australia Arab Chamber of Commerce and Industry in 2016, and the Melkite Catholic Eparchy Corporation 4 years later. As recently as 2021, he was appointed to the Powerhouse Parramatta Committee and recognised in the 2022 Australia Day Honours list with his appointment as a member of the Order of Australia AM for his distinguished professional and community service. Currently, Mr. Rizk is also a member of the Australian Institute of Company Directors and a fellow of the Australian Institute of Management, as well as a board director of the Australian Lebanese Chamber of Commerce for the past 15 years. Equipped with over 47 years of corporate, commercial and international banking and finance experience, Mr. Rizk excels across the banking spectrum through his sound judgment and intuitive ability to generate positive results in the face of difficult market conditions and an increasingly competitive business environment. Please welcome Mr. Rizk to the lectern with a huge round of applause.
I knew I came here inappropriately dressed tonight. I should have worn my Elvis suit and put on my wig. First up, let me just say it's an honour to be here tonight. But Your Excellency, the High Commissioners, Ambassadors, Consul Generals, members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. What Frank has been able to achieve with this summit in such a short period of time is something that we should really, grasp and continue to encourage. The achievement in such a short period of time to get a collection of diversity together in itself tells you that it's a success. When you think about the wealth of this country, all the assets that we have as a country, the most important asset is the human resources. It's the people that make up this country. And as a very young boy, when I came to this country, diversity was there already, but limited in numbers. But what we've been able to achieve in a matter of about 6 decades, what I can recall, and that tells you that I'm over 60, but the reality is the achievement has been fantastic. But in reality, we're just starting off. If we look at every opportunity that was announced tonight, by their excellencies. Look at the opportunities that exist, not just in this country, but in the world around us. And you know who drives those opportunities and maximises those opportunities? It's people such as you in this room. If we remain focused about those long-term opportunities, and we remain focused about how we manage the challenges like we have in the last couple of years, we don't stress over the challenges, but we manage the opportunities. And if we take that view going forward, we'll achieve enormous success. I just want to say that if you haven't looked at the aims of what Frank has tried to achieve, right, read about the Charter, read about what is the purpose of this summit. There's four main purposes. I'm not going to recite them to you, because they're all pretty straightforward and basic, and they collate the wealth that's here tonight, the wealth of the diversity of this great country of Australia. And I see the faces here of people that I've known for quite a long period of time. Your contribution has been enormous. But we're not asking you to stop, we're asking you to start moving in a positive light. We can put all the blame on COVID, we can put all the the concerns that we've had, but we've got to move forward. Right? There's a lot of things happening throughout the world. And think about the value of being in Australia. We are so blessed. I hear that time and time again. This is a lucky country. Where else in the world would you want to be? But that is the reality. So if we don't harness that strength that we've all got and able to contribute in a very positive, in a very challenging sort of way, we're going to walk away thinking we could have done more. Right? But the reality is the opportunities are there, so grasp it. To Frank and his team, what a great success. And Frank will keep encouraging you, will support you, but will also be active around you to make sure that you continue with that success. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thank you very much.